favorite personality program, The Stewardship. My name is David Ojo. This program is proudly organized by the Office of the Civic Engagement, led by Honorable Olatubosun Oyintiloye. Today on Stewardship, I have a guest with me. He's the Honorable Commissioner for Regional Integration and Special Duties. He is an engineer and he is a man of the people. His name is Honorable Lekan Badmus. You're welcome to Stewardship today.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's talk about your ministry. How's it been so far?
My ministry has been doing very, very well. It's one of the ministries that has been very, very active in the government of Alhaji Shaka Adegboyega Itola. We've been having a lot of activities that have been able to deliver in terms of governance to the people. We've been able to have different projects that we have actually championed in ensuring success and giving the state the required accolade it needs in carrying the people of the state along. Among some of these programs are the essay competition, which my ministry commenced from the first year. We've done 2 editions now, and this has actually brought out the secondary and university students out to help us see the good ones among them. For our first outing, the university student that actually won the first has been able to win 2 or 3 other competitions after we highlighted him. He was also able to get support from different organizations when they heard about his story. So it actually brought him out. For the second edition we did, a vehicle was even given to the owner, and this has actually encouraged so many people to look at this our essay competition moving forward. It is our hope and prayer that the one we'll be doing this year is actually going to be better than the 2 previous years. Among other programs my ministry have also championed are the Christmas decoration that we also do, trying to make the environment to be in the festive mode, which we've also been doing since we were given this opportunity to serve under Mr. Governor's mandate. Other areas that we have also been doing, we've also organized the June 12th. We also organized the Independence Day, the 29th one, wherein our slogan was ATM, agriculture, tourism, and mining, as the 3 key areas that the state government were looking at. This was done online. We brought in professionals to give recommendations, and were able to also contribute to the success of the state. Last year, we commenced a major program, which is the Onja Ileri, also known as the National Food Support Scheme. This is a scheme when the government of the state of Osun is feeding 30,000 vulnerable households on a monthly basis. The vulnerables being referred to were actually gotten from a World Bank assisted vulnerable program, where that is where we actually got the names from. This beneficiaries of vulnerable list, it was actually got from our SOCO register. Apart from that, we also identified 9 different groups which cut across the state. If you look at the religion aspect, we picked the Christian community, the Muslim community, and the traditional worshippers. So with these 3, we are sure that all the religion aspect has actually been considered. After that, we also went ahead to also pick the people living with disabilities, because these are the ones that actually need it more. Apart from that, we also pick the artisans in the state. The artisans also benefit from this scheme. After that, we also recognize the Yalaja Babalajas, that's the market, which is also being recognized. Apart from that, we also recognize the student groups in the state. We also recognize the National Student Union of each local government for the students also to also benefit from it. So you agree with me that we also considered ethnic groups. When you look at the Hausa, the Fulani, the Igbos in our community, to also benefit from that scheme. That scheme has gone on for 10 months now. We have the state government has actually distributed these food items to 300,000 vulnerable households in the state of Osun. And you know, when I say vulnerable household, you can see how multiplying that has been. For the past 10 months, we've also shared rice, semo, and wheat. What we are looking at for now, we'll be looking at using other commodities, products that is also available in the state of Osun moving forward. We'll be doing gari, cassava flakes for the month of February. And this is for us to also promote local production, encourage local content, to also encourage our entrepreneurs. Because moving around now, I must be able to see that the coordinators that actually be supplying this good are very young guys, and this is something that really makes me happy to see them getting themselves involved in also trying to have an impact in the state. One of them said, and I quote, that he looked at his commodity, his environment, and saw that what is the strength they have, and he felt that the strength they have is Gary. And because of that, he nicknamed his Gary Odeomo.
Wow.
And as I speak, this Gary has actually reached outside the country. So, this would encourage a lot of our youth that there are so many opportunities around you. Look at where your strength is. Look at where these opportunities are available. Tap on it, start small, you will be identified. So these are, among others, programs that my ministry has been doing and which we've been championing since we joined Mr. Governor in the assignment given to us.
So looking at all that you've said so far, how have you been able to manage and control all these things that you were talking about?
You agree with me that one does not work alone. We have a team.
Okay.
The ministry staff has also been very, very supportive. They've actually been very cooperative in achieving this success. There's also an SSA to Mr. Governor that we work together in achieving this success. This, among so many other things that actually helped out. We also have Mr. Governor has also been supportive in the sense that creating an enabling environment to achieve the set goals and targets. So this has actually given us the edge in delivering based on the mandates given to us, and this is what we have actually been doing, and we still hope to continue to do.
All right, let's talk about this. Let me just take you back a little to the essay competition that you said you had. This will definitely interest parents. Looking at the first and the second edition, what has been the success story? Can you compare and contrast?
Yes, for the first one, it was during COVID.
Okay.
And we used it as an opportunity to allow the students to also think and let them also provide solutions to how the economy can actually improve on during the COVID. There were a lot of suggestions brought forward, and we could see that we still have some students that actually also knows their onions and could also contribute to what is happening around. And that really gave us an insight to see how we can actually improve on that. For that first edition, the parents were also happy, and the students were also happy in the sense that they were able to meet Mr. Governor after the event, and they were also able to actually benefit from the competition. We gave out money, and so many other people also contributed and wanted to be part of it. The Speaker, House of Assembly, then also gave out a token amount to one of the ladies from his local government that also won. So you could see that it's actually an opportunity to bring out people. Then it was from there that we realized that the guy that won the first in the competition, also had challenges in school. Maybe he had his own story that he couldn't, like the problem he had, that he had to go back, So it was an opportunity to go now to actually bring him out to talk about his story. From there, he also got sponsors, and which has actually used to also develop himself. Whereas while he was also doing that, he also won other competitions. By the time we also won other competitions after that incident.
All right.
Now the funniest thing was when we now wanted to do the second edition.
Okay.
He has graduated from university,
Wow.
so he didn't qualify to be part,
of
this. So
All
we
right.
told him he could not be part of it. So we were also able to get other young minds that also joined. The interesting part was one of the secondary school. The one of the secondary school, I think the first, second, and third were women. I can't really remember, but it's really interesting to see when you talk about the girl child, when you talk about educating a girl child and so on. So the first, second, and third, I think were girls.
Okay.
For the secondary school edition, and I think they were also from public schools. I can't really be assertive. So they were also from public schools, and it also give us a lot of pride to say that, well, we were doing well in terms of education. We're also trying to promote that it is not only when you do beauty pageant that you can win a car.
Yeah.
It's so that's why we made sure the car prize was something spectacular. It is our intention to do something different this year.
All right.
If God's willing, maybe we'll take them abroad. Take them. So
I was about to ask. What will be
so it's going to be something also different and better from where we're coming from. So we realize that as we move above the ladder, we're improving on what we're doing. So a lot of improvement has actually gone into it.
Okay, I was about to ask you about the third edition. That since you've given car, what are you planning for the third edition?
And for the third edition, let me even recap. After we gave out the car for the first winner, Mr. Governor was so impressed that the state government actually gave scholarship to the winner of the secondary school competition, which will be sponsored throughout our university education. So I think she has registered in Uni Oshu now. I don't know whether it's medicine or nursing that she's doing. I'm not very specific, but the state government has done that, and the state government actually sponsored her just based on that her performance. So that has been done. While for the third edition, we are looking forward to doing the best. We had a lot of support for the second edition. We need to thank Showade Foundation for their support. We also had so many other people that also supported us to make the second edition a success. We will also be, the third edition, by the time we get there, we'll be able to see how we're going to climb the ladder. But I can assure you, it's also going to be something wow from the second edition.
All right. So how is the publicity like for the third edition? Because people have seen your first edition, bravo. Second, interesting. So what's the publicity like?
Well, it's still far in October. So basically,
October starts now.
Yeah, October starts now. But what we did, like I said, we keep on improving on what we do. For the first edition, we had like over 500 entries. But for the second edition, we improved on it further. We started like 2 or 3 months earlier. We give them room to actually train in their essays.
Okay.
Also give the invigilators those also time to be able to mark their scores and also give us a better result. So basically, for the awareness, we're going to create a lot of awareness towards it. And when we're going to bring in the winners of the first and second edition together to also talk about their experience so far after they have actually won those scores, so that we can also share from it. So basically, it is my firm belief that awareness will be created, and we'll be able to take it up further from there.
All right, you're just joining us. This is Stewardship, and my guest today is the Honorable Commissioner for Regional Integration and Special Duties, Honorable Lekan Badmus. And we're talking about the success story so far on the ministry, what he has done, what has made the ministry different from other ministries in the state of Osun. Honorable, this Osun food support scheme has been rated as one of the best so far under your supervision. What is the magic touch?
Well, first and foremost, I must thank His Excellency Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola for this wonderful scheme. He gave the direction in actually getting um, this scheme to where it is. And people might not know. It's part of the things he had at the back of his mind. But in my own view, we also had an experience during one of our ESCO meeting. The Commissioner for Women had to talk about an experience which she encountered about a vulnerable that had to go to like a dump site to actually get what to eat. And she mentioned then that the vulnerable was with her son also, who was also a graduate. So this was very, very touching. I think Mr. Governor told her to say how they can engage the graduates. And I'm not sure, but I believe this among others, because Mr. Governor had the intention of to see how the vulnerables can also benefit from his government. You will agree with me that when you look at all the strata of the society, if you look at the civil servants, they're already benefiting. Well, not benefiting, it's their right, but they have their prompt salary payment. The pensioners are also getting their pensions and gratuities also on a monthly basis. You have the healthcare. Mr. Governor has also touched the primary health centers. You know, the 332 wards in the state. When you also look at infrastructural development, a lot of good network has been done. If you look at Aleko, the road network, Ada Igbajo, Ede to Ejibo, so many of it. And so Mr. Governor look like, how do this sector of the society also benefit from my government? And that is why you now put up this suggestion of why don't we give them food items that will actually benefit from them. So, you know, in that perspective, we came up with using the social register so that we can have the real vulnerables which the World Bank has approved to actually benefit from this scheme. And we then also make sure we involve the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Muslim community, traditional worshippers, people living with disabilities, the ethnic groups, the youth societies, the Alaja Babalojas, all those sectors to also ensure that what we are sharing goes to the vulnerables amongst them. And this we have actually done for 10 months now. Along the line, because whichever program one does, one is continuing to see how one can improve on it. Along the line, we developed it further by going to the market areas. The reason to do that is just because we make sure that those that go to the market, let's just make sure the people are also aware of what we are doing, and also that we can see the vulnerables that can actually take this, and will actually be beneficial to them. So these are among other things that we have actually done for the scheme, and so far the feedback has actually been something worthwhile. People really appreciate it and are really looking forward to it. Mr. Governor has further directed that we have been doing this for the past 10 months. How do we, apart from the resellers or the business people benefiting and the beneficiaries also benefiting, how do we introduce local content so that the people producing some of these commodities in our society, we can also buy from them? It's in view of that, because cassava flakes is the only product that we can get that volume locally. And in view of that, we'll be doing cassava flakes for the month of February. And I've actually gone around to different cassava flakes processors in the state. I've been to Ifon, I've been to Masifa and Lesidori in Lijibo. I've been to Iwo. I've been to Odemo. And because those are the areas that we have people that have come up to us that they're very registered with the Ministry of Commerce, that they're already doing that line of business. So I've also met the cassava flakes processor while they're doing the job and letting them know the intention of Mr. Governor and for them to see that we are the same thing that Mr. Governor is really passionate about their success and wants them to continue to grow in production. You will agree with me that doing this would actually have a very positive impact from the cassava producers, from the cassava flakes processors, the transporters. It's going to be integrated, and one way or the other, it's going to be impactful in the economy of the state of Osun.
Interesting. Apart from the cassava flakes, what other idea from your ministry?
Well, cassava flakes is the only product we could actually pick for now.
Okay.
So many thoughts have come up with other products, but we cannot actually get the volume. For the rice, semo, and wheat, it's not something we can actually get locally here in Osun. But what we did for the last rice we did was to actually make sure it is local rice, father rice. We want our people to know that we are the only one that can grow our economy. Until we start making use of products that we produce ourselves, it's the only way forward for us to make the country go forward. If you keep on relying more on imported goods, you realize that you're only promoting their own economy. So we did Ofada rice. It was new to so many of them. Oh, this rice is bad. But Ofada, it's what we are, and it's even more richer and has better nutrients. But people do not know. However, we did that for the last month, the month of December, and hopefully we'll still hope to continue to encourage the local producers of rice, also in trying to ensure that we have a better economy.
Before I let you go on the show this day, can you shed more light on the areas, the advantages, the success stories, especially in the regional integration?
Okay, yeah, for the regional integration aspect, you would agree with me that a lot has actually gone on there. The regional aspect of my ministry actually has to do with Dawn Commission.
Okay.
And Dawn means development agenda for Western Nigeria. Like how the Western states come together to have the same common goals. So our first pet project, which has been a success, is the Amotekun.
Okay.
So Amotekun was an initiation of Dawn Commission, and so far so good. It has actually been a success. The facilitators of this Amotekun realized that bringing people in for security in the locality has its own advantages. They know the terrain, they know where all these things are, they understand the language, and that can actually improve them, can actually help better in terms of security. So this, you will see, has actually been very productive in the state. You hardly would you see police catching ritual killers unless it's something big. But I'm taking you see them almost in nooks and corners. So everybody has their role. The police, they are doing their best, and they are also playing their part. So the Amotekun is also providing necessary support in making it a success. There are so many other agendas that the Dawn Commission in terms of regional integration is also doing. When you talk about ease of doing business,
Okay.
it is also the regional integration that is also championing it, trying to see how ease of doing business can be easier in the southwestern states. There are also so many other projects that are already in the pipeline. They are looking at how possible there can be a rail in the western part of Nigeria, and they also look at the area of agric, which state can actually give us the right result in agric. So I think it's something we need to actually hammer on, because when you consider the aim of Dawn Commission, you understand that Dawn Commission is like that. How can the western state stand on its own without allocation from the federal government? You know, when you start thinking inwardly, you are providing future solutions. So I think it's an area that the southwestern state needs to develop further, needs to encourage and see how we can move better on it.
It's always interesting having a chat with you, Honorable Commissioner Lekan Badmus, anytime, any day when it comes to the achievement of this ministry. And that is how far we can go on today's edition of Stewardship. Our guest today has been the Honorable Commissioner for Regional Integration and special duties, Honorable Lekan Badmus. It's been interesting so far. We've talked about the success story of this ministry, we've talked about the challenges of this ministry, and we've talked about how far this ministry has gone in the space of 3 years. This program was proudly organized by the Office of Civic Engagement, led by Honorable Olatubosun Oyintiloye. My name is David Ojo. See you next week. Bye for now.